Scott Morrison in Tasmania this morning to announce $804 million over 10 years in extra funding for Antarctica. And as he continues to weaponise the threat of China and national security against the opposition ahead of a looming federal election, Mr Morrison directly tied the announcement to national security and keeping a watch on China's and Russia's interests on the continent.
We are a treaty nation when it comes to Antarctica, and we take those responsibilities incredibly seriously. Now, not everybody respects those obligations and those stewardship responsibilities. So this gives us eyes on Antarctica.
This follows this front page in the Daily Telegraph this morning about a trip then recently elected New South Wales Labor leader Chris Minns made with federal Labor frontbencher Chris Bowen, funded by Chinese government interests, to China in 2015. The Telegraph reporting the trip was funded by the former suspected agent of influence and party donor Huang Zhengmo. The organisation which funded it was the Australia Guangdong Chamber of Commerce, chaired by Mr Huang. This trip was first reported on in 2017, but at the time Chris Minns was yet to become Labor leader, so it has more potency now. You would have to say the acceptance of this gift was naive at best. Chris Minns forced to defend the trip this morning on the Ben Fordham program and at a news conference.
Did you pay for your airfares? No,
didn't pay for any part of the trip. But look, it was an important trip at the time. I wanted to find out exactly what happened with in terms of the trading relationship and our relationship with China. And also there were many other politicians, certainly from the coalition side, who'd taken trips as well to hear directly from Chinese officials about the relationship.
Chris Bowen also mounting a defence at a doorstop in Brisbane.
The reason we know about the trip is because it was declared by me on my pecuniary interest in accordance with the rules, totally. Secondly, the trip occurred in 2015 at a different time, when the relationship between Australia and China was in a much better position than it is today. Would this trip occur now? Of course not, no. The relationship has changed, China's behaviour has changed, China's behaviour has become more aggressive, which I condemn.
Of course, we know Huang Zhengmo donated to both sides of politics, and I quizzed Defence Minister Peter Dutton on a lunch he had with Huang in 2016, asking whether he too wasn't subject to potential foreign interference unknowingly. Mr Dutton, were you almost a victim of foreign interference yourself when in 2016 you had a lunch with Huang Zhengmo organised by the lobbyist Santo Santoro? Could it almost be said that, is that not proof, I guess, that both sides of politics can be duped into it?
No, I think there's, first point, Andrew, we have an opportunity to meet many people in this business, and in 2016, the situation with China was very different. I hadn't had a security briefing in relation to that, as you would expect, and the big difference now is that in 2022, China under President Xi is heading in a very different direction.
Well, there seems little doubt the situation in Ukraine is going to drive petrol prices even higher than the record prices they are currently. Independent Senator Rex Patrick has called for a cut in excise, similar to the one John Howard made when in electoral trouble in 2001. Government figures concede this is a sleeper issue for them. You might recall I asked the PM the petrol price at the National Press Club and he could not nominate it. He was out ahead of this excise call today, saying it is international factors affecting the price, indicating there was not much that could be done domestically.
Now what we're seeing in other areas like petrol prices and things like that, that's obviously being driven by broader global issues. These are not things that Australia or anyone else has direct control over.